How's New Orleans these days?
It's all right. I'm rehearsing for a show later on. I'm at my studio right now. But New Orleans is good. We recovered from that hurricane. I mean, for the most part,
Right,
Hurricane Ida,
right.
which hit some areas really bad. Unfortunately, my place wasn't too bad, and the studio
Oh, that's
didn't
good.
get hit at all. So yeah, we're here, man. We're all right.
Cool.
Yeah.
You did some kind of live stream to kind of support the.
I
Uh,
did, yeah. We raised about $10,000 for some people. I just wanted to put some cash in people's pockets. Power was out for almost a month, so that really
Man.
the storm wasn't so bad, but the after effects, made it worse than the
Yep.
actual storm, So we put some money in some people's pockets. I was happy to do it. Yeah.
And I'm hoping that New Orleans got a little more help from FEMA this time around than last time they needed it.
We hope so. We hope so. Yes, we hope so.
Oh man. So I suppose we should talk about the single first off, and then we can go off on other tangents. But
Sure.
tell me about "Please Don't Walk Away," which I think is the most recent thing you've done on your own.
Yes.
What's the backstory? There's got to be a backstory. There's backstory to everything.
Yeah, please don't walk away. I mean, it's a true almost heartbreak
Oh no.
story, it comes from, I mean, these songs always start with me. Even if I start to go into other people's stories, I start with me because I need to feel it first, before
Right.
anybody else can. And I went to a place where I thought that I was gonna lose my love,
Uh,
and I really wanted to, because I think this is a little more vulnerable than I am usually. But I really feel like it's missing so much vulnerability that I wanted to be a voice for men, even
yep.
specifically. To It's okay to show that you feel pain and that you
Right. Right. Right.
you were
Yep. It's
you were
important.
scared. Yeah. So that's really what it is. I mean, I think it's a classic story in that sense of like it almost being over,
Yeah.
and I'm begging,
Yeah. Yeah.
Marty,
Yeah. Well, I think, with the lockdown and COVID and all the stuff that's going on, everybody's feeling pretty vulnerable these days. We're in
Sure.
lockdown here in New Zealand right now. So,
Yeah.
it's the kind
Yeah.
of thing that you can kind of turn it around and relate it to your own personal circumstances, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so where and when did you record it?
So I started it here in New Orleans. This is weird, but I started with drums on this song. I knew I wanted to be in a certain rhythm. So it's very rare, but sometimes I start with drums. And then we went to studio in the country, which is in Bogalusa, Louisiana. It's like
Bogalusa. I love
yeah,
it.
2 hours away from New Orleans. It's where Stevie in the '70s did Secret Life of Plants and stuff. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
this studio has remained intact just the way it was. So it's an amazing place. So I took me and the band out for about a week, and we worked on some music. And Please Don't Walk Away. I wrote it there on the piano there in Bogalusa,
Right.
and yeah, it feels that way. I think all that feeling and that classic feeling and the throwback feeling of it. I think has a lot to do with where we were, and
Yep.
out there. It was an amazing experience.
So is the single part of a bigger picture? Is that how you're thinking, or is it a one-off?
Yeah, I think ultimately, I want this to be a part of a record. I'm taking my time with it. I've been writing, as I did in the country, and
Right.
yeah, no. Ultimately, I do want to give. I'm a body of work type of guy, so I eventually want to give that. But this song is really special, and I want it to live in its own space, disconnected to anything,
Right.
at this moment. Yeah.
And what kind of reaction have you gotten? Much fan reaction?
Really, yeah, really, really good, a really amazing feedback and different feedback. I mean, I've never gotten a text before to say, man, uh, thank you. I was trying to find the words to tell my girl,
Right.
and you said them for me. I don't
Right.
really get those, to be totally honest. And I was getting that type of stuff. I was getting calls from people that I hadn't heard from in years, just telling me how much they love it. So I took that as a really good sign. So I'm looking forward to what this song does.
Yeah.
It's really special to
Yeah.
me.
I know you had couple of previous albums, one called New Orleans, another one called Gumbo. So obviously New Orleans is part of what you are musically.
Absolutely.
So I assume that's going to make itself manifest on this record as well. Tell me how that works for you. I mean, what is that thing that
I don't
comes
think
from
I
New
can
Orleans?
escape it. You know, I don't.
Why would you want to?
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, it's just a part of me. I grew up with music in the streets. You know, I grew up with the most festivals per capita. You know, and it's like I grew up around it, so it's always going to be there. But for me, the biggest thread of me being from New Orleans is the integrity. I think you got to be the real thing when you're from here,
Yep.
and so I never play with the music. You know, it's like I never cheat the music, whatever that means. So that's always there. But like with this record, you know, when you hear the horns on there and you hear, you know, the brass section, for me, that is a very New Orleans thing that I can hardly ever let go of, you know,
Yeah.
just having a horn on a song it just goes hand in hand for me. So anytime I can get an orchestra and some, you know, some horns on a song, I think that's the New Orleans in me, you know,
Right.
although I wouldn't consider myself a traditional New Orleans musician, you know, in style, but in integrity and in those types of things like horns. I think I'm always nodding back to home, you know.
Yeah. Well, let's face it, New Orleans is the source for a lot of what we listen to these days.
Sure,
you know,
absolutely.
and I know that you've done you're involved in restoring the house of Buddy Bolden, and
that's right.
you know, and I got to admit, before I read that, I was like, I'm pretty sure I know the name vaguely, but I have no idea who he was. So I did my research, and very impressive story behind
that's the whole thing, Marty. I'm from New Orleans. I'm a musician from New Orleans. And I didn't know who Buddy Bolden was, you know. It's not taught. I mean, for obvious reasons, you know, no one picture of him, no recordings, you know, which kind of speaks to how big the legend was, because still ringing his name with no record, you know, and one picture. And the house kind of fell in our laps. My parents bought property after Katrina around the church. My father's a pastor, and it happened to be Buddy Bolden's house. We didn't know this until people started making pilgrimages to the house. You know, we're like, what is this? And then I moved back to New Orleans, and I said, can I take on this project? So of course I've learned. I'm not in the nonprofit space, so I've had to learn all these lessons. But his story is just so amazing. It's really the seed that planted the first form of American music, you know, in jazz, and I just think that's so amazing. So I can't wait to fully restore it and have really the community understand what they have right here, because it's in the middle of the hood, kind of, you know. But greatness can come from anywhere. So I really want a light to be shined on that, and it's going to be a part of a bigger community center that my parents are doing. So it's pretty amazing. It's taken longer than I'd like, but you know, that's life. I'm just excited about what it will be, you know.
Yeah, well, they do need to keep these places. You know, I know I was in New Orleans about 10 years ago, and I made a pilgrimage to see Cosmo Matassa's studio, which is now a laundromat.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
You know, and you walk in, there's like a picture of Big Joe Turner over here, and Ray Charles, and somebody's doing their laundry. Like, whoa.
Yeah. Is that the Rampart? Do you remember which one it was? The first one, or because he had like two, but his first one was in the back of a grocery store. You know,
it feels like it would
might
be that
one. Yeah, I think so. That's where that's those Ray Charles records and stuff, man. I mean, Cosmo, you know, is really, when I moved back home, he was a big reason or a big inspiration for me, and what he was able to do single-handedly in the city, you know. So want to keep that spirit alive for sure.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we do have to keep those things. We got to keep them alive. Yeah.
And you have your own record label, don't you? Morton Records?
I do. Yeah. Little label, you know. Right now I'm working on an act of mine, Brick Liam. We're working on his record right now, which should be out sometime next year, summer maybe. But I'm excited. Yeah, I just wanted that as an avenue for me to get some of these other ideas out and really try to give a platform that I didn't have when I was trying to fight that new artist fight, you know.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so it's exciting. You know, it gives me another outlet.
Very good. So I know you have a bit of time off before you start doing some gigs on your own. So what are you going to do with the downtime?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna work on music. You know, I'm actively working on music and really trying to make the best music that I can right now, and really be intentional about what I'm saying and playing. You know, and we've got some spot dates here coming up. We got some radio shows in the U.S. where I'm just gonna do some piano shows, just pop up with me and the piano and do some special smaller shows. And then we're gonna hit it hard next year, man. I can't wait to. I mean, we'll see what the world is, but the plan is to hit it hard next year and get back on the road and get in front of these folks, man. It's I can't wait.
Well, how do you deal with? I mean, you were just performing with Maroon 5 in like Wrigley Field and
Yeah,
all
some
these
big places.
huge stadiums, and now you're doing this. Does it do your head in, or do you have to rethink who you are and how you deal with the audience?
It's balance. I've learned, you know, it's been 11 years with Maroon 5. I've found a balance, you know, in all of it, and an appreciation in all of it. Literally,
Right.
you know, for just being present in the moment. Wherever I am is where I am, you know, and who I'm speaking to, and none more important than the other. You know, it's just like this is the mission right now. So I feel like I've been blessed, you know, to kind of have the best of both worlds, and I'm just trying to balance in the best I can, you know.
Yeah. Are you surprised that you're in a band like Maroon 5? Because on the paper it's not, it's a combination that may not make sense, but obviously it does.
It wasn't in the cards. I grew up a preacher's kid, you know, in gospel music, and signed to Lil Wayne at one time, and in Maroon 5. You know, I'm all over the place, Marty. But no, that wasn't in the cards, really. You know. But what I've realized more and more, just in life in general, and especially after joining the band, we're way more alike than we are different. You know, it's like once I realized they were just cats, you know, just musicians, I was like, oh, these are my people. I mean, you know, this is like, it's all the same at the end when you get down to it, you know. So
same language, different accent.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly. Yeah.
And you've worked with quite a few people, you know, Stevie Wonder, and you mentioned Lil Wayne and Erykah Badu. And who would you like to work with next? Or do you have somebody kind of in the back of your head that you go, oh,
yeah,
man.
I mean, like my contemporaries, like I think Kendrick Lamar is brilliant. You know, I think he's such a brilliant artist. I'd love to work with him. Pharrell is somebody I've always looked up to, never really done anything with. I think we'd at least do something interesting, you know. So those are two guys atop my list. Yeah.
Very cool. Have you ever been down to New Zealand?
I have, yeah, with Maroon 5. Never solo.
Okay.
We played, well, we've done a couple of shows there since I've been in the band. Always had a great experience there. Can't wait to I've been to Australia, but never over to New Zealand. So we were actually, when the pandemic, we're planning that. I just remembered that, and we had to cancel. But I can't wait to get over that way. I always feel such a big appreciation for music when I'm there. So can't wait to do it.
Cool. Well, you got the single out. Are you going to kind of leak them through as new music comes to you, or are you going to wait and put it all out in an album?
Yeah, I mean, we you know, I guess once I've started, then the clock has started, you know. So we have this first single. I do have some other music. I don't know exactly which song is going to come next, but I think we're kind of rolling, you know. And then next year there's going to be some full projects. So just where I am creatively is really exciting for me. So I can't wait to see what it is, especially starting with "Please Don't Walk Away" and some of the other songs that we've crafted. It's just like I'm excited to give this music, you know, to the world. So
excellent. Yeah. Well, it's exciting talking to you. So thanks for spending some time with me.
Same here, Marty. No, thank you.
I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the record now. So we'll see what you come up with. No pressure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All righty. Have a great day.
Cool. All right, you too, Marty. Thank you for having me, man.
See you bet. Bye-bye.